So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video today. We're going to be reviewing FIFA 22 Gameplay Edition on the PlayStation 5. So I'm going to be doing this all live for you guys because I really think it's the best way to kind of describe things and just talk about this game from the perspective of a PES fan, okay? Take that into account. I'm a very loyal PES fan, have been. We know what's happened. PES is no more. eFootball's now come into the mix. So it has forced a lot of us PES players to kind of go the FIFA route and kind of give it more of a chance. And I have to say, I have been enjoying it. Now, I have to play around with the sliders and really sort of customize the controls to your liking. But I think if you are looking for a decent football game offline right now with a very solid career mode that's very deep, you've got all the licenses there, you know, all the audio and the sounds and the crowd and the presentation, this really is a solid product to go out and spend the money. Online, it's different. It's a very fast-paced game. I will say offline versus online, you could almost do two completely different reviews. So that's why I'm really focusing today on the offline side of things. All right, so let's dive into it. As you can see, this is the Champions League. I've turned off the audio for streaming purposes or recording copyright purposes. But yeah, the players look fantastic. I mean, they've got really high quality faces. Some of the default faces are still a bit meh. Players like Amid Diallo for Man United does not have a real face. Likewise on PES, he does. So there are things like that. As you can see, he's in the squad. I did buy him actually for my Borussia Dortmund quick playthrough that I was doing. But from a presentation standpoint, folks, this game is unbelievable. The audio is unreal. The sounds of the nets when you score a goal are some of the purest, most satisfying sounds to date. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember Football Kingdom way back in the day, which had really good net physics, not so much net sounds. This game takes that to a whole new level, and there is something satisfying about scoring a belter and then hearing that crowd sound that just, it kind of blows you away. So first things first, yeah, those little things are unbelievable. Presentations, quality. I want to do a replay, thank you very much, so we can actually show you guys the graphics, because let's first of all talk about that, okay? So graphically, from kind of a visual standpoint, I mean, as I say, he's half asleep, he's nodded off, but if we get to a picture of him where he's not asleep, the faces look good, right? Depending on what kind of player you are. This is actually Aaron's that I bought from Norwich City. Whacked him in the Dortmund squad as well. He's a young lad. But you can really see the quality of not just the faces and obviously the beards and the hair, depending on which hair you have on a player. It does flow. Oh, it does flow, folks, and it looks gorgeous. But the player models themselves, not bad, pretty solid. Sometimes you'll see them doing kind of weird sort of contortionist type moves, but that's kind of just a FIFA way. But if you look at the kits themselves, very pure, very high def. There's no doubt this is a very good graphically looking game. Actually, let's head over to Mr. Haaland himself so we can see his hair in action. So when you see him kind of running, here we go, nice and slow. There it is. I mean, you can see the hair is just as sexy as you like. It really is. I mean, you've got no complaints about that. Visually, it's a good-looking game, folks. So, depending on also what you're playing on, like this money I have right now is 4K, but it's not real pure HDR. My LG OLED that I have looks just unreal. Keep saying it, but it's unreal. So, visually, folks, you've got no problems with this game. It's going to look good. It does look, I'd say, better up close than further away. But yeah, it's still sexy as you like. Now, a few things to take note of what we are playing today to really get the maximum out of this game, that I felt I've enjoyed this game more now that I've made a few tweaks. And those are, I've turned everything now onto semi. So I'm playing on semi-pass, semi-shot, cross, and then lob pass I do put on manual. I don't like to play on anything assisted, but something semi or even manual, although Fuma for me on FIFA, it doesn't feel quite right because of the way that AI play. So I do think that semi is the way I'm going to go forward just to enjoy the matches a little bit more. I turn off the analog sprint so they can do the burst. And then on PlayStation 5, you have got the luxury of having enhanced vibration, and then you can turn on the trigger resistance. When you have this on and enhanced, every pass you do, you're going to feel it through the controller. So if you play a really long pass with circle or something, depending on your control scheme, there's going to be a little vibration and rumble. Nice little addition, and they kind of use the DualSense in a good way. So this is the settings that I'm on, as you can see. And then also let's take a quick look at the game settings. Now, I've gone back to playing on the game cam. This is a next-gen only exclusive camera. They had it last year, but it works, all right? It's very, very realistic. It looks like you're kind of watching and playing a football match. And I've kind of gone back to it. Now I'm playing on semi. On Fuma, I had a problem with it. Semi will be fine. Now, these are the sliders that I'm using to get the best possible experience. You can pause it as you wish. They are pretty much Mat 10 sliders. You can cater them to your liking, whether you're playing on World Class, Legendary. I've been playing this game mainly on Legendary, all right? Now, I will say there is a severe lack of fouls in this game. There still is hardly any. Injuries have been up and down. I wasn't getting any injuries at 50-50, but when I changed it to 75-25, I've started to get a little bit more injury-wise. So something you've got to play around with. But that's the good thing about FIFA, because you have the luxury of going in here and tweaking the sliders. If you couldn't tweak sliders, I probably wouldn't give this game the score that I'm going to give it. But luckily, we do have that luxury. So anyway, folks, there's all the sliders. There's all my settings. The graphics look great. The presentation's gorgeous. Let's now dive in to the gameplay. All right, folks, let's dive into the gameplay aspect now. Now, we are playing this on normal game speed. I would highly recommend, though, if you are coming from PES, to maybe put it on slow, because it does slow the game down just a touch. And as we know, PES is a much slower paced game than what FIFA is. But even as you can see, I think the camera angle also does this game justice. But one thing, as you switch the ball around, you just watch the way that players... I'm trying to get them to take this on their chest. As you watch here, look, bang, bang. The way players take that little extra touch now to bring the ball down with the hypermotion tech, which a lot of us, obviously before this game came out, we were like, how realistic is this going to be? Are we really going to see proper controls? Is hypermotion tech just bollocks, basically? Are they talking out their backside? And the good news is no, they're not. Because like stuff like this, as the ball's coming in, I'll slow it down, and the way he takes the touch on the chest and then a little touch with the foot, and it's not just glued to the ball, is not glued to the player, which has always been the biggest problem that I have with FIFA compared to PES. PES, it's almost like the ball's separate to the player, whereas FIFA, it's almost glued together, and that's why everything is just sped up and it's so quick. But as you watch here, as the player, Guerrero controls this on the chest, and then he takes that extra touch with the foot. And that's what makes this game for me a lot more doable. Every player has their own individual sort of way to play. I will show you a few snippets of Haaland, he runs like a machine, but that's the way Haaland runs. I will say the ability now to press L1 and R1, and I'm going to show you right now, to make players make runs is a game changer for me. Because I'm from PES, and that's something we've always had in our arsenal. Now you can actually make players make runs with the simple touch of a button. So we're going to get the ball inside here if we eventually get it. Oh, the referee's given a foul. Nonsense. Now that's one thing there is a severe lack of. We've got one now, but I've given it away. Is the free kicks. I don't know why FIFA over the last few years, I don't know how long, because I haven't really played the last few iterations that much, as he's got the old hairspray out, son. There's just not enough fouling. Like the CPU are almost too good at times, and they literally win every single challenge, which makes it very difficult to get fouled. So, as you can see right now, I haven't called for it. I still have the ball with Hummels, and just as I press R1 now, as you can see, he starts to call for it. So here I haven't pressed anything, then I press the button. He puts his hand up, he says, look, pass me the ball, I'm coming towards it, asks for it, and then you can give it to his feet. It's so well done. It really is. And those little things, I'd have no problems with Konami taking and whacking it into their product as well. Likewise, once again, L1's pressed, and there's the run. L1's pressed, and there's the run. Every single time, that player's going to make the run, and it just makes football so much easier to play, and you can play football how you want them to play. If you need some player to come to support, bang, tap R1. If you need a player to make a run down the flank, Aganji, yeah, you got an injury, son. Simply press L1, and it works. Terrible pass from Witsel there. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of snippets because I want you guys to hear those goal sounds, because for me, the goal sounds in this game have blown me away. I've enjoyed every single moment of the goals I've scored, and who doesn't love a good net sound? Here we go. Now, one thing I will show before we do that, though, is the way the players also head the ball. As the ball's whipped in here towards the back post, you can see there, bang. There's such a different variety of animations in this game. That's one thing I will say they've done a really, really, really good job of doing. Goalies will save in different ways. Players will jump for headers in different ways. Even when you tackle and players collide, they fall in different ways as well. There are still a few little niggles, like I took a few screenshots of this where the goalie was almost like a contortionist. I didn't really know what was going on there, you know what I mean? It looks kind of odd. He made the save, actually. He did save his arm. So you might see a few little things like that happening. But yeah, I'm going to roll a few of these clips so you guys can really hear. This was, once again, my Borussia Dortmund playthrough taking on Bayern Munich. And this was a nice little counter here. Hazard, I'm playing on slow, so the game has slowed down a little bit. And listen, ready? Here we go. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, that sound. And then you've got the audio coming in as well. This was another goal that we had. This was when I was 2-0 down in this game, folks. Completely turned it around. And ended up winning on penalties. So we'll work it forward here down the left-hand side. Guerrero towards Hazard. As you can see, we're making players make the runs. That's what I absolutely love about this game. We carried on going, and then have a look at this for a finish. From Mr. Heartland. He does what he does. And the way he runs as well is comedy gold. This was a penalty that I actually gave away. Mr. Robert Lewandowski. And as you can see, the crowd always getting into it. There's always a man in a vest. I think his name's Malcolm. But it was a chance for Lewandowski, and that was so close. So close. But once again, it's the variety of animations, which means every time you score a goal, they may look different. Nothing is really pre-canned in this game, I don't feel like. There's another match here that we were taking on Everton. This is a pre-season match. On Legendary as well, but we are playing on slow. But there it is, beautiful ability to switch the pass. Player gets it down, takes a few extra touches because we are using 85 touch control, ball control. And then this was a nice move, but look at this. I think the goalie got just enough on that. So close to banging it in. Let's move forward a little bit more. Another match for the pre-season for you. This was up against Real Sociedad. And this was more just showcasing that they had a chance here. I think it was a good save right there, out for the corner. Goalie did a decent job. I like the little transitions. You know, they're always showing animations. The crowd as well, folks. When you're playing matches and you're losing, if you're at home, you're going to start seeing more of the fans disappearing. If you're winning, you're going to see more of the crowd staying to watch. Right here, they were dicking around with it. I wasn't having any of it. Marlon got the ball, and now watch Haaland's running animation, which is what I absolutely love. He runs like a beast. He is a beast. Once again, those net sounds. I could honestly make just a compilation of listening to these sounds over and over again. This was Montpellier, who we are taking on pre-season once again. And it was just taking our time, working it forward. Emre Can out wide here, and have a look at this for a finish. Too good. Too good. So yeah, I just have a whole bunch of different videos that I've been capturing. I mean, this is something that does happen, though, because, I mean, I don't know what's happened here. I did go over to the player. Who was this? He turned his back. Kanji. The ball was in the air, and he turned his back mid-flight and somehow still managed to win it. So yes, there are still these little niggles that still happen with this engine. I don't know. I don't know how he won that header, folks. Some sort of telepathic ability to know what's going on. So yeah, those little things can happen. But overall, ladies and gents, I'm not going to make this super long because there really isn't need to. I mean, I would say if I'm going to give this a rating, I gave eFootball, what, like a 3.5 out of 10? I'm talking about gameplay-wise. I'd give this probably around an 8.7. I really would. I think it's been a really, really good game offline when I play it with my sliders. Default gameplay, it's going to be different. Play with the sliders that I have on semi, even manual, and you get a much more realistic, fun approach to a game that has really taken top flight when it comes to like the presentation, when it comes to like graphics now. The sounds of the nets, as you keep saying, for me at least, have been unbelievable. Career mode is very deep. There's a lot to do. You've got all the cup and the competitions, especially when you start playing with the lower leagues. You know, in the lower leagues, I was in like 4 or 5 different competitions, and there's so much to do. There really is. You know, make the matches a little bit longer. You're talking, you know, 8-9 minute halves. You don't have to rush. You don't have to panic. You can see the way it kind of bobbles. There's so many different ways as well, folks, to pass the ball. And not only pass it, but finishing it. If we can try and get near the goal here, and I don't know if we are, because we are playing on Legend. It's probably not the best mode to play this on, to try and showcase and talk at the same time. But I've enjoyed it, folks, which I never thought I would say, to be honest, because especially after last year's FIFA. But for the first time in a while, it's been an enjoyable experience. Yeah, there's still problems and players still skate along the turf because that's kind of way this engine's been built. But offline, in career mode, like this, with the sliders, and you can see that there are teams making mistakes. They're not all 100% accurate. It is going to happen, and you are going to have those matches where the AI still do the ding-dong moves, which is annoying to watch and try and defend. But you kind of have to just get used to it. I can't defend to save my life right now. But yeah, I'd say an 8.7, folks. 8.7 around there overall for the gameplay as a whole. It's still not, you know, an ultimate sim of a football game, and I still think we're waiting for that at some point. I don't know if anyone's going to take the reins on it. But from an enjoyable perspective, with everything that's on offer here, this is a very good package game, which is just really taking it up a notch this year, especially on next gen. Don't know what it's like on the old gen, so if you're still on the PS4 and even PC, yeah, you're not going to get some of these perks. But on the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X, yeah, this game is certainly very fun to play. If you want to play a good, solid career mode with the sliders, give it a bash, especially if you're coming from PES. And that's coming from me. That's coming from me, folks, which means a lot, because it's hard to please me, as you guys know. I moan a lot, I complain a lot, but, you know, I enjoy what I enjoy. Well, there's the manager, and you'll see those. They cuts to the players, to the managers, having a bit of an argy-bargy, a bit of a chat. Right, if we can score this and end on a winning header, then absolutely 100% job done. Oh, a kanji. Not good enough. Anyway, let me know your thoughts below. What would you give FIFA 22 next gen gameplay-wise? If you tweak it, you play with the sliders, let me know below. But until next time, subscribe for more. Take care.